Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are safe and sound. Welcome to Class 8 Civics, Chapter 10, Law and Social Justice. Children, one of the many objectives of the government is to establish social justice. And to achieve it, the government has to regulate economic activities of the market through laws. Let's try to understand why it is important and how it is done through the issue of workers' wages. You know, children, that all in the market, whether they are private companies, contractors or business persons, want to gain maximum profit, and in this desire it is quite possible that they refuse to give workers their rights. For example, not pay their wages for their work or cut their wages, though it is against the law. To protect the workers from being underpaid, there is a law on minimum wages. According to this law, a worker has to be paid not less than the minimum wage. The minimum wages are not fixed at a level forever, rather they are revised and increased time to time. As the law on minimum wages protects the interest of workers, similarly there are also the laws that protect the interests of producers and consumers. For example, there is a law that requires adequate safety measures in workplaces. Another law that says that quality of goods have to meet certain prescribed standards. But do you think that the government's responsibility gets over, or the workers, producers and consumers' interests can be protected only by making laws? Certainly not. Therefore, it is also the responsibility of the government to ensure that the laws are executed or enforced, because these laws are meant to protect those who are weak and cannot fight for their rights themselves. For example, to ensure the workers that the workers are paid properly, regular inspections should be done at the work sites, and those who violate the law should be punished. In most of the cases, workers are poor or powerless and desperately need work. They have no bargaining power, so they have no choice other than to accept low wages. Therefore, it is important that the laws are enforced. The government makes, implements and upholds these laws. In this way, it can put a check on the unfair and unjust activities of individuals or private companies in order to promote social justice. Many such laws are based on the fundamental rights of the Constitution. Let's take the example of the fundamental right against exploitation that prohibits forced work for low wages or slavery. The fundamental right against exploitation also states that employing children below the age of 14 years in any factory or mines or in any other hazardous work is a punishable offence. In October 2006, the government amended the Child Labour Prevention Act, banning children under 14 years of age from working as domestic servants or as workers in dhabas, restaurants, tea shops, etc. But despite of the law against child labour, it is a fact that 74% of child domestic workers are under the age of 16. So, the important questions that arise are whether these laws are actually practiced and how much successful they are in ensuring social justice. I am sure you all must have heard about one of the world's worst industrial tragedies that took place on 3rd December 1984 in Bhopal. Union Carbide, an American company, had a factory in Bhopal in which it produced pesticides. At midnight on 2nd December 1984, highly poisonous methyl isocyanate gas started leaking from the pesticide factory of Union Carbide. This leakage of poisonous gas caused numerous deaths. Those who survived developed serious disorders and ailments. Most of those exposed to the poisonous gas were from poor working class families. Now the question arises, why foreign companies like Union Carbide set up their plants in India? So the first reason is the availability of cheap labor. The wages for workers in countries like USA are very high. However, in countries like India, the companies get workers who get ready to work for low wages even for long hours of work. Companies' expenses on housing facilities for workers are also very less here. In this way, the companies in India can save costs and gain high profits. In drive to earn more profits, the companies try to cut cost by giving lower working conditions, including lower safety measures, as was done in Union Carbide factory, where the safety devices were insufficient and malfunctioning. The required workers were reduced from 12 to 6 workers in the methyl isocyanate plant, and even the safety training period for workers was cut from 6 months to 15 days only. This all was being practiced to earn more and more profit on the cost of the safety of the workers. However, the same company's plant in the USA was maintaining strict safety standards. So, what were the reasons for such differences across countries? What is the worth of an Indian worker? So, children, in India, there is so much unemployment that despite of unsafe working conditions, workers accept to work uh, to earn money, and one worker can easily replace another. The employers take advantage of it and ignore workers' safety in workplaces. This is the reason, children, that every now and then we hear the reports of accidents in construction sites. Here, it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that safety laws are enforced. The government has to see that the right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution is not violated. At the time when Bhopal gas tragedy occurred, the safety laws in India were very weak, and those too were not enforced. Like the government officials didn't recognize the Union Carbide plant as hazardous and allowed it to be established in a crowded area. Some municipal officials objected that it was a safety violation, but the government argued that it would provide jobs. Even after repeated incidents of leaks from the plant, it got continuous approval from the government inspectors. This was one of the many examples which show that the interests of the people and their safety were neglected or denied both by the government and by private companies. In 1984 in India, not only the safety laws were weak, but the laws protecting the environment were also very few and hardly enforced. Actually, the environment was considered a thing for free that could be polluted, the air and water could be polluted by any industry. As in the case of Union Carbide, it didn't have to spend any money to clean up the pollution. After the Bhopal gas disaster, the issue of environment protection was highlighted. People realized that the existing laws were inadequate. As the environmentalists' pressure increased, the Indian government made new laws on the environment, and the polluter was to be made answerable for the damage done to the environment. The people share the environment over generations, so its destruction on the name of industrial development could not be accepted. In many judgments, the courts upheld the right to a healthy environment as essential part of the fundamental right to life and made the government responsible to make laws and procedures that can check pollution, clean rivers and impose heavy fines for the polluters. But children, there is another aspect also of the environmental issue, and that is, while on one hand the courts have come out with strong orders on environmental issue, on the other hand these orders have badly affected many people's livelihoods. How? For example, the courts directed many industries in Delhi which were discharging polluted water in the river Yamuna to close down or shift out of the city. But due to the closure of industries, many workers lost their jobs or were forced to move to far off places where these factories had relocated. Thus, this growing concern for the environment is often at the cost of the poor. Therefore, the present requirement is to find solutions where all people can benefit from a clean environment and workers' interest can also be protected so that the right to life is achieved for all. One way through which it can be done is that the factories should gradually shift to cleaner technologies and processes. In this, the government should encourage and support such factories and fine those who cause harm to the environment. Now children, to check your understanding of the topic, here are some questions. First question, what is the role of government in ensuring social justice? Second question, what do you know about Bhopal gas tragedy? Discuss the role of government in this regard. Third question, what is the worth of an Indian worker? Fourth, write the adverse effects of orders on environmental issues given by courts. Children, if you found this video helpful and wish to watch more of such content, do consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any queries or comments, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you.